Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Man, oh man, oh man. Bioware, it is never boring following what's going on with them. First and foremost, without question, let's just make it clear. Yesterday, they announced that Hans Zimmer is the composer for Dragon Age the Veilguard soundtrack. Hans Zimmer is a legend, bona fide legend when it comes to movie soundtracks, having done The Lion King, Interstellar, Batman Begins, The Dark Knights, the list goes on and on when it comes to the movies he's been involved in that have absolutely incredible soundtracks. I have no idea how much money it must have required in order to get him to sign on to this, but it was absolutely worth it because just automatically his name is synonymous with quality. It's synonymous with, hey, this video game soundtrack is going to be a cut above what you've heard before, which is important because honestly, Dragon Age, the series overall, is known for having really standout soundtracks. Of course, it started with Dragon Age Origins, composed by Hans Zimmer. And that soundtrack, honestly, I feel like it's one of the top all time. You could put it in the top 10 greatest, most iconic soundtracks I've ever heard from a game. And then came Dragon Age 2, which is also composed by Hans Zimmer. I don't feel like that soundtrack is classic. I don't think it's all time, but it is fantastic. It really adds to a lot of moments in the game. And so I felt like when Inquisition was about to come out, it definitely had a lot to live up to. Now, Bioware decided to deviate from Hans Zimmer and instead picked up Trevor Morris to do the soundtrack for Inquisition. There was definitely a lot of controversy regarding that. A lot of people who felt like Hans Zimmer's sound defined Dragon Age, and to deviate from that was basically to lose part of what made the series special overall. But I gotta say, Trevor Morris did an incredible job with Inquisition. I still don't feel like that soundtrack is quite as good as Origins, but it absolutely is fantastic and stands out on its own. And I would say more so than the other two games, there are moments in Inquisition that have a heightened emotional impact specifically because of the music. Like, I feel like The Dawn Will Come is an amazing piece and an amazing period of that game, just really well used. I love Solus's theme song when you meet the real version of him in Trespasser. I love the way the opening credits, the song that's used right beforehand when the Inquisition is really being first formed. Like, there's just some really high emotional moments that are specifically centered around the music that Origins and Dragon Age 2 didn't have, even though I feel like Origins overall is the best soundtrack. So now we're at Dragon Age the Veilguard, and it has this history of really quality music. I think that if you weren't going to get Trevor Morris again, getting someone like Hans Zimmer, who again, just no question, absolute legend, automatically brings some cachet to your project. Unfortunately, as great a move as this was, and as happy as I am that they did this, and as excited as I am about playing this game and hearing the full version of this soundtrack and everything Hans Zimmer has decided to do with this opportunity, it must be said, or at least it's the way I feel. All right, they released the main theme for Veilguard on YouTube. I'll leave a link down in the description below. You're hearing it right now in the background. In my personal opinion, it is absolutely positively mediocre. It is. There's nothing about this theme that really stands out that makes you say, oh wow, this soundtrack is going to sound completely different. This is going to be some really, really unique Hans Zimmer work? Like, no. To be honest with you, the majority of the track to me just sounds like noise. And this is coming from someone that has really, really enjoyed a lot of Hans Zimmer's previous work. This just doesn't sound like it's up to the same level of quality and creativity as what we have experienced from him before. Hopefully I'm wrong, or at least, no, I know I'm not wrong about this thing, but maybe when we hear the overall soundtrack, we'll hear a lot more about what makes Hans Zimmer so great, and we'll see that footprint on more of Veilguard. But as it stands right now, I feel like there's this great announcement and this great, oh man, we've got the guy, the music guy to be involved with our game. But then there's the question of, well, did he just take a check and then kind of phone in the performance? Don't at me. I'm just, if you all feel differently, if you all love the sound, if you all love the theme and think it's amazing and you can't wait to hear more that sounds just like that, let me know in the comments. But I feel like a lot of you who are, if you're being honest and real about it, listen to that, are like, this ain't it. But regardless, hey, it's fun following this game. If nothing else, I am absolutely going to play it. I know a lot of you in my last video were trying to say that I shouldn't buy the game and that we should take a stance against Bioware because of them not bringing in a lot, some of the choices from the previous games, things of that nature. I don't agree with that at all. I don't. I'm definitely of the mindset that studios should be able to make mistakes. Studios should be able to make mistakes, recover, and hopefully produce something better down the line. And I feel like we're dealing with a Bioware right now that is recovering from the loss of a lot of senior leadership. And you have people who previously were not senior during the great games that we all know and love, who are now trying to step into those roles and do the best job that they can. I don't feel like Bioware decided not to allow us to bring in choices from previous games to spite us or to spite the fan base. I think they decided not to do it because they decided, you know what, we saw what Gator and the rest of them went through in order to make that happen, and we either don't want to have to put in the massive amount of work it would have taken to do that, or straight up, we don't feel like we're capable of it. And I feel like regardless of what the answer is, they should be allowed to grow into a better studio that is capable of giving us the exact type of Dragon Age game that we want. I do not see it as to my advantage or the advantage of the gaming industry at large for Bioware to fail and there to be no more Dragon Age games moving forward. I don't. So no, I don't believe that just because I'm disappointed and upset about what we spoke about in the last Veilguard video, that all of a sudden that means that I should not be playing Veilguard, not buy Veilguard, that I should be taking these hard stances. No, my stance is I want y'all to get better. I don't like where it is right now. I don't feel like the level of quality is where I want it to be. I want y'all to get better. And in order for y'all to get better, you got to exist. If you don't exist anymore, there's no opportunity to get better. So my hope continues to be that Veilguard at least turns out to be a decent game that I have a fun time with, even if it's not the epic time that I was really hoping for, at least a fun time with the game that they released, and that this version of Bioware has the opportunity to grow into hopefully becoming a studio that once again releases classic games that I remember 20 years down the line. That's my thoughts on it. Love the fact that they added on Hans Zimmer. Looking forward to hearing his work. Even though the first exposure to it wasn't all that, maybe the full soundtrack would be better. Let me know you all's thoughts down in the comments below. Hope all of you enjoyed this video. Take care.